I know. We're not gonna say it. In my defense, finals were. Yeah, okay. Let's get on with this. Hi everybody, my name is Chastiny and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, pull up a chair, tell me your name, have some hot cocoa, it's in the corner, get to know the rest of the family. If you're a returning member of the family, how you doing? Glad you could be here today. My bad. We got wine today because finals are up. I'm not going to be doing my as I read the normal way I do it. And if you don't know, I normally record myself reading the book and then I edit it down to all my reactions in real time as I read the book. Yeah, that wasn't going to happen during finals. However, I did end up doing is going through the book, and every time I made a comment out loud, I just, wrote something about it so that we can go through the book together and we can, talk about my little outburst. Today's As I read Christmas Contract for His Cinderella by Jane Porter. Spending the holidays with the man who broke our heart is Monet's worst nightmare. Yeah, my mom told me it's not pronounced Monet, it's Monet. But it has a T, so that's what I'm going to call her. But when commanding Marcus' children urgently needs a nanny, she can't refuse. Landing back in his aristocratic world, where free-spirited Monet never belonged, is a bittersweet torture. Marcus doesn't anticipate his overly ordered life being disrupted by the enchanting woman Monet has become. Duty has always dictated his actions, making Monet, with her infamous family history, strictly forbidden. But when their long simmering passion burns intensely enough to melt the snow, will Marcus finally claim his Christmas Cinderella? Will he? I don't know. So it took me 8 hours and 20 minutes to read this book collectively. I started timing myself on the second day, and on the third day, it was only 20 minutes left. But the first day it took 3 hours to get through 3 chapters. But the first couple of chapters for me are always hard to get through because you got to get to know the characters. You don't really like them at all until, you get the feel of them. We're going to go through the book and we're going to see what some of my exclamations were. And also this right here, these are my drinking buddies. I decided through this book that every time the word Christmas was mentioned, I would take a drink. And then I realized that sometimes Christmas was mentioned like 5 or 7 times on each page. And I was like, I'll never get through recording. So for these tabs, I will take a drink. And then I'll tell you how many times Christmas was mentioned. Because if I took a shot every time Christmas was mentioned, I would be so drunk and you would never ever get this video. Plus, I'm trying to be just a little bit family friendly. Actually, no, I'm not. I don't care. Okay, so on chapter 3, and one of my first things I said was, okay, we get it. He has blue eyes. So I do remember when I was reading this, every other time they described Marcus, oh, his blue eyes, oh, his blue eyes, oh, we get it, he has blue eyes. So one of my complaints, I guess I was talking about, is repeating narration in conversation. So Monet's mom is a bit of a mistress, okay, and she was also like an actor, so she was beautiful, she was passionate, but she messed with other people's husbands, and the girl would talk about it, and then in conversation, to get the point across to another character, she would talk to them about it. But this particular moment, she went through this with the audience in her mind about her mother and how she was disappointed, and yet she still loved her mother. And then she repeated it to Marcus. And I was like, I've heard this story before. Okay, I get it. Product placement, Maserati. Oh, another one. Product placement, Persian rugs. Then we come to my grand idea of drinking every time Christmas was mentioned. In this particular page, 1, 2. Christmas was mentioned twice. That's the reason I even started. Because I was like, oh yeah, 2 a page. It's probably not going to be mentioned that much. Okay. Now we roll around to chapter 4. And one of my questions I asked is, how are they going to be in love if he won't even be in the same house she's in? Are they going to get snowed in? Like, that was me thinking out loud. And so that's what I thought at the beginning of chapter 4. Because the whole point is that she's going to babysit his kids while he goes and woos some other lady in the Alps while they're skiing. And so he was like, you won't even see me. And I was like, how is that going to be a love story if she doesn't even see you? So there's that. Oh, look. Another drinking tab. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Christmases. Don't ask me why. So, we're halfway through chapter 4 now, and I said burn. Like, ooh, burn. And this was a scorcher because I was like, dang, woman, she really telling him about himself. And basically, she was like, I've only been here a few hours, Marcus, but it seems to me that the children don't need a new mother, but rather they need a new father. Ooh, burn. Also, I wrote down Beautician and the Beast, which it did kind of remind me of the movie, you know, with Fran Drescher. Another Christmas tag. How many here? 1, 2. 2 Christmas words of Christmas. I'm gonna get drunk just doing this. I didn't even tab the rest of the Christmases. It was just too much. I know my limit. I got Dad's a prick, and I underlined why I thought Dad was a prick. Papa says life isn't meant to be fun. Okay, you tell your kids life isn't meant to be fun. Yeah, Dad's a prick. So that was my feelings on that. Sherry, like the drink. Would you like a sherry, my darling? We need to sit and talk. Because this is when he was like, I need you to come down to my office at the end of the day and tell me about the children. And she's like, okay, I'll come down and tell you about the children. Oh, look, another Christmas tag. And this one, wait, I wrote down how many because I was surprised at it. This one is 7. It says times 7. There's 7 Christmases between these 2 pages. And I was like, that's when I was like, yo, I may not be able to drink for like each time they say Christmas or the word Christmas was mentioned, but I'll just drink for each tab. Yeah, but I stopped tabbing after like the last tab I have up here because I was like, every other page was like Christmas. I was like, I'm not drinking all that. Drink responsibly. This is their first kiss. It was actually really weird. The first kiss was so weird because they were arguing about how he's like telling the kids, life is not about fun and life is about hard work and logic and blah blah. He's like, you don't have any children. What makes you an expert? You're making me mad. And then he's just like, they're looking at each other and there's so much intensity. And then he's like, oh, I don't know. And he just kisses her. And I was like, at first I was like, and then I was like, wait a minute. No, that's not how it works. But that's what happened. So there's that one. All right, so I'm in the middle of chapter 5. And one of my questions was, how did they take their innocence from each other if they never did the do? Because one of the things they kept doing was going back to that last moment they had together where she was like, kissing him and his dad was like, no, you can't be with girls like her, they don't fit into our lifestyle. she's not meant to be wife material. She's meant to be fun material or something like that. And so I was like, and then they talked about taking each other's innocence. And I was like, y'all didn't do the do because she's a virgin. And I was like, y'all didn't do the do. So how is that possible? I don't know, but that was it. Another drink tab, and this one says ×6. I'm already getting hot. I don't have to do this. I'm doing it anyway. So here I wrote, oh, how sad. And it really was a sad moment because it gave Marcus like a moment of like human-ish kind of thing, because he's all like cold and calculating, and he's just like, I don't really love people. I just, I make good business decisions, because he sees marriage as business. I think he actually kind of liked his first wife a lot, and the way she had to go was kind of sad, and it made me feel sad for him. Good job, Jane Porter. You made me feel for the monster. Before we get to the next pink tab, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 other drink tabs, and I'm not drinking 4 extra times. So I'll just drink 1 extra time for all 4 of them. So the next tab, I know out loud, I was like, and there it is. There's the problem. There is the like Marcus's thing. Like, he's angry. Why is he angry? If he doesn't care about marriage and stuff like that, why is he angry? And I quote, and then God took her. God took his wife. He's like, he's mad at God. That's what he is. He is mad at God. And the last Christmas tab I did before, I was like, I'm gonna get too drunk if I keep tabbing the Christmases. So I just left it be. So this is to the last of the drinking tabs. In chapter 7, I entered, and they started talking about how the weather looks like it's turning. So I was like, Storm called it. That's how they're going to end up spending so much time together. Because you can't have a love story if the other guy's off in the middle of nowhere with some other woman. Can you? No. I love me. So she lays some hard truth bombs on him. By this time, they have argued night after night after night, and they're talking about the children, and she is like, dude, your kids need to celebrate the holidays like you did when you were younger. They need to know there's joy and happiness. And she's like, dude, you're grieving. I get that, but you have to let your kids grieve and move on. You can't just punish them in your grieving process. And yeah. So that was a hard truth bomb, and I was like, ooh, that hurt my feelings. But he needed to hear it. And again, I complained about them rehashing the same point. At this point, she's like, I love him. He doesn't love me. He needs me. That's the problem. He's saying, I need you. And she's like, you don't love me. I want love. I want adventure. I want respect. I want you to respect me. I am not my mother. I am not a side piece. I am not a mistress. And it is clear that I am also not what you want for social beings or blah, blah, blah. And so it's the same argument over and over again. I mean, I don't know how many times they could be arguing about the same thing. They're not even using different words at this point. It's just the same thing. You don't love me. I need you. I need you, but you don't love me. But I need you. I need you in my life. I need you here, but you don't love me. Okay, we get it. Basically, it's the wording of his love for her. When I first said I wanted to read this, I wanted the Lifetime movie love, where everybody's like really nice and no one acts like no one be normal. But it's still nice. It's all very like pretty much a Christian romance. That's all I wanted this Christmas. But then almost at the very end, boom, they hit me with Lifetime and HBO. They got dirty, quick, and hard. And I mean like erotica dirty. Oh my God, Jane Porter, why did you do that to me? It didn't come out of nowhere, because I thought it would be like one of those things where they start kissing and then the frame pans into the fire. And we know that fire is happening. But no, it goes into details. Look, I wasn't expecting that, especially from a Harlequin book. I'm getting hot just thinking about it. Whew. That was some sexy stuff in there. Yeah, I'm getting hot. Yeah, and then I said sex again. Oh my God, like, this is how shocking it was to me, because when I read books like this, I don't expect. They start kissing, and then he kisses her collarbone. That's fine. And then he kisses her belly button, and I'm like, wait a minute now. And then he's like, yeah, and then he grabs onto her thighs, and I was like, I can't read anymore. And then I go to read some more, and then he's like, he buries his face somewhere, and I was like, oh. If you want a little bit of erotica, this is it. It surprised me. I can't put it, I don't know how else to say it. Like, I can't tell you what kind of erotica she wrote, because, you know, figure it out for yourself. The last thing that I wrote, it's really a complaint. Something I kept saying. I don't know why I didn't keep track of it, but 8 years have passed, we know. The author keeps saying that 8 years, it's been 8 years since we've seen him. It's been 8 years since he dropped her off at the airport. It's been 8 years since he talked to her. It's been 8 years. Eight. Okay, we get it. You dropped her off at the airport and she flew off to London 8 years ago. We don't need to keep being reminded that it was 8. I swear, it's throughout the whole book, it was like 8 years, 8 years, 8 years. Okay, I get it. 8 freaking years. There was one part, like right before the erotica kicked in, where it was just like the most anticipated like kissing that didn't kiss ever. And okay, let me set up the scene. She's talking to him about his kids and how they need to celebrate Christmas, and he's like, we don't do Christmas here. And she's like, well, I'm gonna do Christmas in my room and you can't stop me. He's like, well, do whatever you want, just don't bring my kids into it. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so he's like, you're frustrating me, you're making me mad. And then she's backing up and she's just kind of like walking away from him, and he's following her, and she's just like backed up to a wall, and he's like leaning over her. Because the first time they kissed, he was like, as long as I am pursuing someone else, I will not touch you. And so, go back. He's leaning on the wall, and he puts his hands up, and he's towering over her, and she's looking up at him, and she's going, you promised you wouldn't touch me. And he's like, just like, he goes, his hands are like this, and then he puts his elbows down. He's getting closer, and he goes, I haven't broken that promise yet. He goes, and she goes, I know what you want to do. And he's like, yeah. And he comes in closer, and their lips are so close, and I was just hanging on every word, because I was like, Jesus, just kiss her already. This is gonna be the most hottest kiss in the world. Because the first kiss is supposed to be really sweet and passionate, blah blah blah, but this kiss would have been it. This kiss would have satisfied all the kisses in the world. It will, oh Jesus. Also, I like the fact that they use consent, because he's like, you know, because he was like, you want to? And she goes, yeah, I want to. He's like, let's do this. She goes, yeah, let's go. So, at the end of the book, I'm not going to tell you what happens, because this book was written in 2019. It was a cute book. I didn't like the kids as much as I liked the kid from Winning Charlotte back, because that kid was adorable, but these kids were nice. These kids were cute and stuff. I felt a little bad for them, but they weren't in the story as much as the other kid was. It was nice. It was cute. It was shocking. I give it that. It shocked me. I had no idea. I had no idea this was going to turn into a full-blown erotica. Oh my God. I thought this was going to be a good Christian book with like light petting. Not even light petting, if I'm honest. I thought it was going to be a kiss here, peck there, deep, deep, deep loving kisses or something like that. And nothing else really. And the detail, I'm just saying, there are some things I just didn't expect. But I'm okay with that. I did like this book. Do I recommend you read it? Yes, I do recommend you read this. Why? Only because I don't want to be alone knowing this heat, this passion. I was a little irritated about the repetition of information. But other than that, I really think that you, yes, you would enjoy this. Unless you don't like erotica. If you don't like the strong details, then you probably shouldn't read this book at all. Or you can just skip over it. It's only a couple of pages. Just look and be like, oh, skim, skim, skim. Nope, not here. And then just skip over it. You can pan to the fireplace by yourself while they do whatever they do. Just know that we know what they do, and we know how she feels when they do it. All right, everybody. That's all I have for you this week. Sorry the video was late. On today's episode of As I Read, I read Christmas Contract for His Cinderella by Jane Porter. So if you like what you saw today in this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Have you read this book? Does it surprise you that Walmart and Harlequin put such a steamy book out there? I mean, I'm dipping my toe into the Harlequin world just a little bit, but I did not expect this. Whew. Do you want to read it now? You want to read it now. You know you want to read it now. It was less than $5, so it was very entertaining. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of As I Read, and I hope to see you again next week.